Shalom, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. I'm going to go over a particular subject concerning the fact that angels and humans did not have sex. All right, now, let's go, if we will, into the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1. And it says, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fear, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man, that it was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, which I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." Now, one of the things I wanted to point out, brothers and sisters, concerning this, is that this is the quote that a lot of people go to sit there and state that angelic beings from the heavens came down on earth and had sex with human females. And from that, children were produced out of that. And they say that the children that produced out of that were called the giants. Now, let's first off go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 19. Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 19 says, "And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters." This right here simply goes to show you that when it says the sons of God, that it is not always in the scriptures talking about an angelic being, because this right here is speaking about human beings, in this case here being the children of Israel. Remember this quote right here. Now let's go to Jeremiah, if we will. Jeremiah chapter 31. We're going to start in Jeremiah 31 verse 9. Okay, so that way we can gain some understanding concerning this matter right here. And it says the following. Jeremiah 31:9 says, "They shall come with weeping and with supplications will I lead them. And I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn." So now, in the book of Malachi, the Most High speaks and says, if I be a father, where is my honor? So the Most High already is addressed by people as the Father. So we are, in this case then, the children of the Father. All right, now, we go back into Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 and 2 one more time. It says, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them." Now, let's start right there. And it says that men began to multiply, and daughters were born to them, right? "That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years." So what's being stated emphatically, brothers and sisters, the sons of God that we're speaking about here in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, is not angels from the heavens. It is the men of the Most High. The sons of the Most High are the men of the Most High. The daughters of men are women that's not on the caliber of being called the daughters of the Most High. That's what that's speaking about right there. Now, when you go into Genesis chapter 5, if you will, Genesis chapter 5, verse 1, and it reads as follows. "This is the book of the generations of Adam, in the day that Elohim created man. In the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created." So this right here also goes to show that The Most High made male and female in the image of the Most High. You understand? Speaking that his spiritual image, his holy ruach, if you will, or his holy spirit. That's what it talks about when it says his image. All right. So remembering that part and remembering that in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 19, it distinctly speaks about those who were hated by the Most High, that were his sons and daughters because of their wickedness. Now, remembering those two parts right there, and going back here in Genesis 6, verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men. Now, these were men of the Most High who saw the women that was not on a caliber to be called the women of the Most High or the daughters of the Most High. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fear, and they took them wives of all of which they chose. Now, when it says they looked upon them and saw that they were fear, tobot is the Hebrew word used for the feminine pluralization of the word good. So they was dealing on a carnal and not the spiritual. They was not dealing on the image of the Elohim. They was dealing on the image of the fleshly aspect, not the spiritual aspect, not the holy aspect, not the upright aspect. They was dealing on the carnal aspect. And then it says in verse 3 to confirm that. And Yah said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Meaning that from the time when the Most High made this edict and this decision, from that point to 120 years is when the flood began on the earth. Right? There were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, that they bore children to them, the same became the mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Now, without no disrespect intended and understanding of what's going on from the spiritual aspect, and now in this case the linguistic aspect, when you read the word giant there, it's the Hebrew word nephilim. The word nephilim, they usually translate as the word giant, but there's a deeper meaning to the Hebrew word nephilim from the root word nafal. The Nun, the Fe, and the Lamed. Nafal means to fall. So these men were the fallen ones. You understand? These men were the fallen ones who wound up mating with women that was not on the caliber of being called a daughter or a woman of the Most High. And they bore children to them. The same became the mighty men which were of old, men of renown. So, due to the fact that you had these men that fell in their spiritual realm to the carnal realm by saying, wow, she's, or these women here are tobot, or they're good, and so forth and so on. This is why the Lord teaches you, you got to do what is tob and zadek. You got to do what is tob, good, and zadek, righteous. You can't just do what is good. You got to do what's both good and right. Because everything that may seem to be good or appear to be good, according to the eye, may not necessarily be the right thing to do. You see, so in this situation such as that, when you read in when you read in Genesis here, chapter 6, verse 5, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented Yah that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Now, here's an argument to those, no offense not to be argumentative, but there's an argument to the people who say that Genesis chapter 6, verse 2 is talking about angels from the sky or from the heavens came down on earth and had sex with women who were females. The Most High said his spirit will not always dwell upon and deal with man, for that he also is flesh. It's not saying that God is flesh and spirit. It is saying that man, made in the image of the Most High on an earthly plane, is spiritually in of flesh. That's what it's talking about right there. Then, when you get into verse 5, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. What wickedness is this talking about? It's talking about the fact that you were called the B'nai Elohim, or the sons of the Most High, and you was dealing with women that was not on the caliber of being called the daughters of the Most High and making children with that garbage. That's what that's talking about. That's why, for instance, and there's no offense intended, when you go into the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, it said the high priest is not supposed to take a woman that's been divorced or a woman that was a harlot or so forth and so on, because there are certain calibers of your mate that match you. Some people call it being unequally yoked and so forth and so on. Some people, males and females alike, refer to that kind of thing, such as you're not on my level or I'm on a different level. Well, when you go into Genesis chapter 6, and it says the sons of God, they were on a certain level dealing with women who was not on a certain level. And the Most High counted that as being wicked. Verse 6, and it repented the Most High that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from off the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. So what's being stated, brothers and sisters, right here, this just goes to show you that it is not talking about no angelic beings having sex with human females. Why? Because if it was, why would human males be held accountable for an act which they had nothing to do with? If it was angels from the heavens and human females, why are human males being held accountable for that act? It is because, brothers and sisters, it is not angels from the heavens having cohabitation and sex with human females. It is men of renown of the Most High who dealt with women that was not on a caliber of being a daughter of the Most High. That's what that's talking about. That's another reason why I wanted to get into Deuteronomy 32, verse 19, because it distinctly says right in there, brothers and sisters, the provoking of the Most High sons and his daughters. So yes, you can be a daughter of the Most High if you are female of a certain caliber. Yes, you can be a son of the Most High if you are male of a certain caliber. But when you are on that caliber and you deal with a mate that is not on that caliber, that's called wickedness before the Most High. The Most High said due to that, he's going to wipe off man from off the face of the earth. And as you read on later, you read about Noah and his family and so forth and so on. So this is not speaking about angels from the heavens coming down on earth and mating with human females. And later on, you get the giants and so forth and so on. That's not what that's talking about. Now, many people, when they discuss this, they go into Numbers chapter 13. And they say that when Yisrael, dealing on a carnal mind, not dealing on the spiritual level, that's the quote that they're getting out of the Israelites. They say, we saw the sons of Anak, even the Nephilim, and we were as grasshoppers in our own sight. That just goes to show you that the punk, coward, low self-esteem level that the Israelites had when they only saw with the carnal eye and not the spiritual eye. You see, you got to upgrade yourself, so to speak, as the saying goes. You have to, as the saying goes, step your game up, if you may say that terminology, to let it be known and understood. But when you on a carnal plane, when you on the fleshly plane, so forth and so on, your spiritual eye, what they call in certain cases the pineal gland, it cuts off when you're not dealing in certain aspects. So, concluding this particular subject right here, we can go back. It says in Genesis 6, verse 2, that the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men that they were fear, and they took them wives of all of which they chose. You can't sit there and just deal with just anybody that, oh, it looks good, she looks good, it appears to be good. You can't do that. This is not, brothers and sisters, talking about angels from the sky and coming down and having sex with human females. Not to be redundant, we know that's not talking about that, because the punishment that came upon man, women, and so forth and so on, if it was not inclusive of human males in the act, why would human males be accredited as being sinful and wicked before the Most High due to this act? So sometimes we can just let a couple of scriptures define a couple of scriptures, line upon line, precept upon precept, and not necessarily have to go to 84 different books to try to sit there and justify one verse. Just read with understanding, and hopefully the Most High will open our vision. Shalom.